Hey everyone, and welcome back to Monday Coffee, episode number 26. Today I'm without a coffee and just with water bottle because it's 3 p.m. already when I'm recording this. Usually when I drink coffee after 12, I'm not a good sleeper afterwards. Anyway, today I wanted to talk about work versus play. That's something I've been thinking about recently. Quick example. When I start journaling, I can write for a very long periods of time. I can write for an hour and long paragraphs. I'm just being myself when I'm writing something. The words are just going from my brain directly onto paper or on my computer. It goes very easily. But when I'm doing the same, I'm sitting and I'm starting to write the script for YouTube video, it's going not well. I'm shooting blanks, I'm overthinking, I don't know how to start. Same activity, writing, two completely different experiences, completely different outcomes. That's what I think in my head as a play versus work. When we're doing something very enjoyable, it goes really easily. I call it play. And when we're doing the same thing, but it goes not great, it feels like work, there is a switch somewhere in our brain that can turn the same activity from work to play and vice versa pretty easily. And I was trying to understand how it happens, why it happens, and what are the factors that are affecting this. One thing I come up with as a reason that it may be when we're doing something enjoyable, we have intrinsic motivation. So we kind of doing it for the sake of doing it, right? And when something feels harsh and feels like work, feels like something heavy, maybe the external validation is in play here. There is some invisible audience or a deadline or a person you have to report to, or there are certain metrics that you are after. When this invisible judgment is above our head, it feels like everything just become not enjoyable, drains all the joy from the activity. Another thing that actually already related to how we approach things, when we work on something, we're trying to use a lot of productivity, a lot of planning, we're trying to schedule everything, we're trying to prepare ourselves, we're trying to squeeze as much value from the activity as possible in as less time as possible. If we're talking about something creative, many modern jobs are creative jobs. It's really hard to be creative when you have this productivity jail that you put yourself into, productivity box. Because if you Google some people who doing artistic stuff professionally and on a very high level, in many cases I noticed the pattern that they're trying to do nothing very often. That's how they bring what's called muse or whatever. That's how they get the fuel for their creative activities. So kind of useless wandering and just observing and being present. This is what's important for creative tasks. Only this can help you process your feeling, and from that internally you create something that's worth creating, I guess. And of course some people go even further. They trying to judge everything that is not productive and that is not help them grow. So any activity that is not following their some kind of big goals becoming a waste, and only activity that help them grow and achieve success is useful, which is a little bit insane because it can easily lead to burnout, and you need rest, you need just doing nothing. It's just required by our human nature to actually do a good work and to enjoy that work. That's my conclusions are. I think it's absolutely worthwhile activity to try and go after this feeling of switching work to play, because if all the work you're doing feels like play, you're probably going to be a very happy person. Everything would be an enjoyable activity. It's what I'm after as well, but I know how hard it is. But I think it's worth continuing. And if I can leave you with something, just try to be present when you work, try to really focus on something you're creating and not think about any external validation, any people, any audience that can judge you. I'm always saying creating, right? But I think many modern jobs are actually creative jobs. For example, if you're a product manager, you are creating a product, you're trying to fit all the pieces of the puzzle together to build a really good value for your customers. If you are in a leadership position, you are building a team, which is a kind of also creative activity. If you are an accountant, you building that everything economically would fit together in your company. I think many jobs can be kind of summarized into creating of something. Of course, there are a lot of different parts to each job, and sometimes we feel like it's not creative at all and it's just a routine. But I'm sure part of each job have this nice creativity that you can use and you can focus on and get into this flow without thinking about anything else. And second, just try to relax, try to be yourself, try not to force yourself into the productivity box, into scheduling every minute, in every step of your work, trying to squeeze as much value. It's just not worth it. Sometimes it's okay to take a little bit more time. Sometimes it's okay to finish everything not perfectly, just good enough. This is, I think, two parts of any job can be very useful to bring you to that state of play. That's my topic for this week, and I'm really curious, what do you think? Do you ever felt this difference in your job or something that you do as a kind of two modes of working and playing? How do you overcome it? What tips you have for other people who also want to enjoy more of what they're doing? Just let me know in the comments. This week I have brought you a couple of recommendations of movies I recently watched. First one is Good Luck, Have Fun and Don't Die. I think it's pretty funny comedy. If you ever watched Don't Look Up, it's in the same style. There are a lot of satire on the modern world, how we are sometimes becoming jokes, how modern world can feel a little bit crazy, and there are a lot of humor around that topic. And the second movie is Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. I think it's just a very cool movie from a couple of Canadian comedians, I guess. I'm not gonna tell you the plot, but it's just a little bit crazy, and it's very nostalgic, at least for me. It's kind of movie in the theme of movies of maybe the end of the 90s, beginning of 2000s. It's just a cool movie where people trying to do funny and cool stuff. That's a pretty cool movie. I definitely recommend it. From my personal updates, I continue living in Amsterdam. The video is coming about the city and why I decided to move here for a month. I wish you a pleasant week, and I see you next Monday.